All right. Oh, well. Well, Ace. Well, wait. Okay. My bad. I'm reading the Ace might slide in the comments. You never know. Oh, wow. Yeah, of course you might. Well, okay. Yep. So here we are. Honestly, all right. So Bammy loses 38-24, like I predicted. Right there. Yep. So, well, for one, congrats to me because I got it right. Two, let's not overreact to this. All right. So, first things first. Okay. Look, 4 turnovers, that's not a good thing. Well, it was 5 because Musa threw the pick at the end. But 5 turnovers, like, that can't happen going forward. Now, what I will say to point out the positives, this is the fastest team that you will play all year. There ain't a swag team out there better than USF. You may not run into competition this good again until you get to the Celebration Bowl against Central. Well, will what? I'm confused. I was expecting Flash. I mean, honestly, now if you want me to be honest, if you want me to be honest, if you want me to be honest with you, now, oh no, you're good, you're good. Now I will say this: you had USF fans saying that USF was going to 70-piece FAMU. That was wrong. You had USF fans saying USF was going to rack up 600 yards of offense. That was wrong. You also had USF fans saying that USF was going to win by 24. That was wrong. So if you look at it, plus besides too, they also affect both sides have both sides have things they need to clean up. A lot of things they need to clean up. The discipline and the lack of discipline that you saw in spurts that didn't really get called in the Orange Blossom Classic should have it got called tonight, and it came back to bite FAMU. Well, let's see. USF's going to die versus Alabama. Yeah, no, it's true. And then you factor in the fact that that Alabama lost tonight. And they lost by 10. See, FAMU's clearly the best team in the swag. We beat ourselves in that. Yeah, you did. 5 turnovers. Yeah, no, you beat yourself. They beat themselves tonight, and there's no debating it. Let's see. USF's wide receivers are garbage. Yeah, no, they are. The offense goes as Byron Brown goes, and we saw that tonight. Actually, made a little couple personal notes myself pertaining to this game tonight, and I guess I'll share them. So, you had 2 hands to the face calls on Johnny Chaney. You had 2 guys covering. I see your comment, Ash or Ace. I'm going to get to it. You had 2 guys covering 1 man on a wide open wheel route that USF missed on, which could have been another touchdown. Thankfully, it wasn't. And Byron Brown is not the quality passer that he is. He's a better runner. You had 3 turnovers in the first quarter. Offsides on a 4th and 3 in the second quarter on Nick Dixon. You had 4 turnovers total. Well, 5. One of them in the red zone from Marcus Riley. Things like that lose you football games. Bamy's gonna run the schedule as long as they don't mess around. Yeah, no, and they will. They will. That's a very true statement too. They will run the schedule. Because honestly, it's like you think about it, you take away the kickoff fumble, the fumble on the kickoff, you take away the fumble in the red zone before the half. This is a 1-point game. It's easily a 1-point game. Probably ends that way. Way too many. Yeah, no, way too many. You can't, and it's a good thing that it happened now versus happening. Moose is gotta take care of the ball, which he should do versus lower team. He will. Honestly, no, because you saw Musa like honestly, and this is where I'm gonna literally just try to read the room. Raise your hand if you expected Musa to go go the distance of the field in 48 seconds, or less than 48 seconds. And if you did, and if you expected him to do that, you are a liar. Because most of you literally called him out and was like, just bench him and put in Junior Murtovich. When honestly, just after the first two turnovers, he played a pretty solid game. The last pick at the end, honestly, me personally, doesn't matter. They didn't capitalize off of it. They didn't score any points off of it. So, realistically, it wasn't no different than a punt. Still can't happen, but quite honestly, I don't really feel bad. Things get better from here. Now next week, you better bring your lunch pail because you're gonna play a better, well, a good D2 team. I know we will run the table, but these penalties have to go away. These can call, and that's why it happened now. That's why it happened now, because you'd rather it happen now and you see the mistakes now versus them happen later. And again, you saw pieces of it or little glimpses of it that the SWAC refs don't realize because they're SWAC refs for a reason and they're not FBS referees for a reason. And it came back to bite you. No, he was solid. He was solid. Like I said, I don't really care about the last interception he threw. I really don't. Musa showed us the guy on film that made Willie bring him here. Yeah, no, he did. He really did. Because look, he stood in there, and honestly, I look back at it now. It's like when you think back to last year's Orange Blossom Classic and the constant pressure that Jackson State was bringing to him, he folded. USF brought that same pressure. He stood in there and he hung in there, and I was very impressed. Right, got one more game to clean this up. Yeah, no, you do. Now next week, I expect a little bit more juice. I expect a little bit more fire because it is the first home game, and I expect there to be added motivation because you do have a home game winning streak still on the line. That's alive and well. And one streak came to an end tonight with 10 straight wins, which it's fine. USF had a streak come to an end tonight as well. It's fine. I think we come in. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, definitely will. Definitely. They'll watch this. They'll learn from it, honestly. And also, too, there were some things tonight that Willie Simmons was very upset with from the referees that honestly should have been penalties. Like, for instance, there were certain parts in the game where you would see USF defensive backs holding down FAMU wide receivers as they were trying to get up, and no flag for no delay game penalty on the defense. I think Moose is about to. Oh yeah, no, I think so too. Because now it's like you saw how the game came so naturally to him once he really got settled in and got going, and he got knocked around a little bit. Because now it's like, okay, it's slowed down for him. It's a little bit easier now. So it's like you should be like 2 steps ahead of the SWAC defenses when you see them, all of them. Because oh my gosh, I'm trying to think to myself, which one is the first SWAC game of the season? I'm trying to think of it right now. I believe it's. Let me see. I have a tablet right in front of me, and I'm acting like a blonde. Oh my goodness. Terrible. Shame on me. So yeah, first SWAC game of the season is against Alabama State in 2 weeks. They'll be ready. Oh yeah, they'll be ready. Not to mention Alabama State doesn't look too hot right now. The play calling after the first touchdown drive was trash until the drive right before halftime. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was honestly. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. Bama State. Yeah, it is. It is Bama State. But yeah, no, honestly. Wait, what's up? We got here. Moose is Brady. He's lethal with the play action. Brady was night and day sometimes when dropping back versus play action. I think Moose is the same way. I mean, yeah, honestly, and I will say for the longest time, I was hoping that Willie would incorporate more play action, which he finally did tonight. And that's the thing. We've in the past 2 weeks, we've seen things that have been very unwilly like and more player friendly. He hasn't put him under center hasn't put him in shotgun as much. We saw him go under center last week. We saw him run more play action this week. So I'm curious what we're going to see next week. I'm really curious. Yeah. But honestly, like I'm impressed. I'm still impressed. Bummer that you lost, but impressed. Overall, as far as the box score goes, Moose had 358 yards passing, 1 TD, 3 interceptions. Jaquez Yant, 22 yards rushing. The rushing game only had 19 total yards tonight in general because you had Marcus Riley go for -2 yards. You had Jeremy Musa for -18 yards. Nick Dixon led the pack in receiving tonight. 98 yards receiving for Nick Dixon, 76 yards receiving for Marcus Riley. Kelvin Dean was third with 1 reception for 45 yards on his 1 TD. Geez, why did I have Marcus Riley listed for 2 fumbles? It's interesting. Anthony Dunn led the team in total tackles. Let's see, where we at? Cardell Thomas is okay. Yeah, honestly, I'm hoping that was just a cramp. I'm hoping that he will be okay. Would you give Colorado a chance with Bama from what I saw? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I don't think so. Because honestly, right now, if I had to really decide, I would take Texas over Colorado right now, based on what I saw today. I would honestly, I would, because from what I saw today with Colorado, I question how they're going to fare when they run up against Bo Nix and then the next week against Caleb Williams. Riley fumbled the kick return, and then the Reds. Yeah, no, those two killed it. Those two killed it. And if he doesn't fumble right there in the red zone, that's the difference between going into the half at 24-7. No, not 24. 24-14 and 24-21. It's a different ball game. Riley fumbled opening kickoff and fumbled right before halftime. Yeah. Okay, so that explains the 2 fumbles. Okay. But yeah, no, yeah, you can't do that. Colorado's D-line is terrible. Yeah, no, it's not as good as advertised. It's not. And again, like I said, they're going to run into Bo Nix and Caleb Williams in back-to-back weeks, and I believe eventually into Michael Penix, and you're going to see how good they are. But yeah, so honestly, too, 126 yards rushing by USF tonight, 234 yards passing by USF in total tonight, 197 yards and 3 TDs by Byron Brown. And that was just him passing. Byron Brown also had 2 rushing TDs tonight. So, again, that offense goes as he goes. But we'll see what he does next week. We will definitely see what he does next week. Where are we at? Okay. But, overall, looking back at the keys to victory that I pointed out, stop Byron Brown and the rushing attack as far as key to victory. Didn't do that. Establish a rushing attack. 19 yards. Didn't do that. Consistency from Musa. When he was on, he was on. When he wasn't on, he wasn't on. But like I said, overall, it'll get better. It will get better. So I know everybody's acting like the sky's falling. Let's relax. Let's breathe. Let's step away from the ledge. Don't jump off yet. It'll be okay. Just calm down. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You still got a long way to go. It's one game. Even before the season started, I predicted 9-2, but I said the ceiling was 12-1. We're still on pace. Let's just focus on West Florida right now and get ourselves ready for conference play. Nobody else in the SWAC would have done what you did to USF tonight. Anybody else would have lost. Anybody else would have lost by 20, maybe 24, like what USF experts assumed. Non-conference, though. Non-conference too. Yeah. Again, it's a tune-up. It's a tune-up, but it's also a game that you can't come into flat. You can't come into next week thinking that's going to be like Albany State or like it's going to be Fort Valley. You have to bring your lunch pail next week, which is why, again, what happened tonight had to happen. So it'll be okay. It will be fine. It'll get much, much better. Trust me. It will be much better. All right. So, what else do we got here? So, as far as other scores around the country goes, Alabama State lost to Miles tonight. Jackson State beat Southern tonight. Yes, Alabama did lose. Also, too, UCF edged out Boise State. Miami took down Texas A&M. Notre Dame beat NC State. And Clemson eventually stopped Clemsoning and took care of business against Charleston Southern. Yeah, no, of course, yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's not even tonight's something I wouldn't even really worry about. Again, you learn more about yourself tonight than what you needed. How should I say that? You learned about yourself tonight, and you learned about what you need to work on, which it is a good thing. Things like this keep things into perspective because honestly, finally getting over that hump with Jackson State kind of made you kind of feel yourself a little bit thinking, nobody can really touch you and stuff. But, you need losses like this sometimes to just keep things in perspective and kind of realize, okay, no, we're not perfect. We still need to work towards this. We're still chasing perfection. That's what you're working towards. So, yeah, no, it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. Just, don't let these things happen again. Discipline, turnovers, and penalties. Yeah. No, you have to be more disciplined now. You have to limit the turnovers and you have to limit the penalties. Which, honestly, if I can pull that up too, based on the team stats, 12 penalties for 115 yards. That has to stop. How many significant injuries do we have? I'm scared. I saw Cardell Thomas go down. I saw Big 93. Oh my gosh, we're losing track of his name. It's not DJ Moore. But I saw, and also saw Lovey Jenkins go down too, but he came back. So, I mean, didn't seem too bad. Of course, I mean, you're gonna have guys get dinged up and get bruised up, of course, when you play physical games like this and stuff. Which honestly, I do question the referees when every time, like I said earlier, FAMU wide receivers would get tackled and then USF defensive backs really holding them down. I'm gonna get to that one. Not perfect, but very good and growing. Yeah, no, I agree. No, it's like I said, it's gonna be okay. There's growth. There is growth. And you go back and you review this film and stuff, you learn from it, you make the corrections from it and stuff, and it'll get better. I agree. Now, this I absolutely agree with. You are literally right there on the line. You see the ball before it's even snapped. There is no excuse as to why you should get called for false start. Same thing goes for DBs. You should never get called for false start or offsides. Never. So that brain fart was another one that I mentioned earlier on a 4th and short that you could have converted because you already converted one later on in the night. That should have never happened. Never. Yeah. No, it comes with it's mental toughness. It comes with mental toughness. And in time it'll get there. It'll get there. No other team right now in the SWAC is better than you. No other team. Not from what I've seen based on these scores the past 2 weeks. Alabama State ain't touching you. Honestly, if FAMU and Alabama State lined it up right now, I'd take FAMU. It was. It absolutely was. Because honestly, once it got to be like Once FAMU got down like 31-24, I was like, oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. We may have something here. Because realistically speaking, me personally, how I felt it was going to go was I was thinking, all right, well, USF's going to be up at some point 38-17. FAMU's going to get one for the Gipper before they get on the buses to go home. But no, USF had to get that extra one just to make it look good and feel safe. So honestly, if anything, I feel good about FAMU's chances progressing forward. If I'm a USF fan, I'm worried about, like, can we handle playing in this conference still with UCF, Houston, Cincinnati all gone? Can they? This year, well, okay, maybe next year, but this year, But on FAMU's end, I'm feeling pretty good. Because I'm like the announcer earlier tonight. I don't see them losing another game. Which honestly, too, real quick, I don't know if anyone else saw it, but my folks that are from Tampa that saw it, like the little like ice cream thing that the announcer pulled out tonight. I'm not gonna lie, that looks pretty good. If you've ever been to a Rays game before, like you've had those before, and they are so good. Only theirs are blue. They had a red one tonight because it's the Bucks. So, but not gonna lie, y'all should just try one if you ever get the chance. But yeah, all joking aside. So, but yeah, time of possession 31-38. For USF, it was 28-22, which honestly was something else that stood out to me too, because I looked at that and I noticed, like, when FAMU had the ball, they had the ball for a pretty extensive period of time. So they kept Byron Brown off the field for as long as they could at certain times. Because for a minute, FAMU was on lengthy drives, driving the ball downfield, slowly, methodically working. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Byron Brown hasn't been on the field for a while. And that's how they were able to keep this game so close for so long, keeping him on the sideline where he needs to be and let Musa just work. So in cases like this, with certain quarterbacks, you want to keep guys on the sideline where they belong, to where they can't do you any harm. Oh, wow. USF was favored by 20, and they only won by 14. Not bad. Not bad at all. But, folks, well, I guess we covered everything. I'm not going to keep y'all too late tonight because I know it's almost 11:30 tonight, and I know people are tired and they want to go to sleep. So we're not going to keep y'all up all night tonight. We will be back next week for FAMU in West Florida. We will be back after the game and everything too. We'll talk about it. We'll go over everything, talk about players to watch, score predictions and stuff. Yeah, no, we were. And it'll, like I said, it'll get better. It'll get better. I love the fight, honestly. I loved what I saw tonight as far as the fight. And that's what you can ask for. And Willie Simmons and company, they'll learn from this, they'll grow from this, it'll get better. Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We will be fine. But yeah, before we do get out of here for tonight, so yeah, like I said, we'll be back next week for FAMU West Florida. We'll talk about it. Pregame will be 5 minutes, not 5 minutes, at 5 p.m., an hour before the game and everything. And then we'll be back to talk about it, what went right, what went wrong, and everything such as that. Make sure you tune into the Run and Gun podcast Wednesday night with me and Ace. We'll be back. We'll be talking and hitting on this again and much other things as well, too. Make sure you enjoy your NFL Sunday. Make sure you have a safe Sunday. If you are driving home from the game, make sure you get home safely. And as always, folks, as you know, stay safe, stay blessed. We will see you next week.